It's like lopsided, and it comes down too much here. So I can play with this right now, actually.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what you do.
So-
Painting you're frustrated with.
Yeah,
Don't
so
throw it
doctrine
away.
of painting, don't throw it away.
No, I need this lesson.
You can, so this painting was much lighter, and just day before yesterday, I took this big brush, and I took cobalt blue, and I just started going over everything. I went around this white cloud, but then I added purple and violet here. I went around the trees, but I covered over the leaves with blue, and I covered everything with blue.
These are pretty.
I just added those.
Yeah, that
I
looks
thought that's
really
interesting.
cool. I love that, and I love the loom.
Thank you.
That's
I
my
want to
favorite.
leave the loons.
Now, how did you add that lighter tree in the darkness?
This here. So this was already there, and I kind of like that. So you can see the
I love
blue
that,
here. I
yeah.
skipped over it real fast with this big brush. So I saved some of that light in there. I thought that looked interesting. This is a little empty. There's a hole here. I could put lily pads and reeds and
that
an
would
old
be cool.
stump. I'm thinking about that. I think I'm going to put some deep, dark spruces right behind here to really make this stand out.
This is gonna be cool.
Because I'm thinking, so I've got, this is what we'll cover tomorrow, the 2 against 1 thing. I also want to show
that
you
you're
that. I
showing
mean,
with
there's
the
just so many
pencil.
things. We need
Yeah.
another day.
What does that mean?
Okay.
And so, like, for example, here are 2 values, light and dark, and everything else is a middle value.
Right.
See that? So that really makes the focal points stand out, because that contrast is right there. You
But
could
I
do
love it.
you could do light and medium against everything else dark. You know, there's all these
So
different
that's the 2
patterns.
against
That's the
1.
2 against 1.
Got
It
it.
could be dark and medium, and everything else is light.
I love it.
So
That's so.
thinking dark and light, and that's in the foreground. I'm thinking, what about more dark? So like a dark tree in here. I think that'll bring that out. Some dark shrubbery, almost silhouetted here, and some dark foliage in the water, maybe some rocks. I don't know. I
Lily
could go up
pads.
through here with something. That's a
Surprise
little
us.
riskier. So let's try something,
I
okay?
still think you ought to just cut it off.
No.
Yeah, just slice it. Believe me, I had different mat boards on here, and I'm thinking I could just frame that, and then I'm like, there's not much
I
there.
love
Right
it.
over here.
Yeah,
No, I love
Scared
it.
of
I,
that.
you're gonna make it look. I think it's cool right now, but you're gonna make it look really cool.
we'll see here. So here's a.
Glue some white paper on that.
Besides having colors that granulate or sediment, like French ultramarine, burnt sienna, you have colors that stain. The Windsor, the phthalo stain, phthalo green, phthalo blue, phthalo cyanin.
What do you mean by stain?
They will stain your paper so you cannot
can't
lift
bring
it
it
out
off.
of there. You
Okay.
can't get it out. And this is one of them. But man, they'll make a dark, dark color.
This is gonna be
So I'm going to take that with a little alizarin, and let's go with some quinacridone gold,
I love that color.
and it makes something real deep, the green. But red will cut the green because it's on the opposite side of the color wheel. See right here? If you want to add the complement to break a color, and let's just boldly drop that in there. See what that's already doing with interacting with
Yeah.
this, and let's hide it behind these leaves here a bit and have it run up through there. Maybe it's coming down through here, and let's put another one that's narrower in here that's kind of fighting with it. There's tension in there. And how about
That's cool.
perhaps another one that goes behind
You're
here?
looking for the third one, is that it?
Yeah, I don't know if I need 3 or 4 here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 and 5. That works
That looks
okay.
good.
So I'll go with that. But while it's still wet, there's this other brush I like. It's called Scroggy's Loose Goose. According to Cheap Joe's. Look at that.
I love
And-
Cheap Joe's.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good
a great,
catalog.
great spot. So let's mix up a little more of this deep dark color. And while this is still wet, I want to link some of these branches in here and just cut through and across. And it can be pretty haphazard here. Now, that's the beauty of these brushes. You don't have a lot of control with them, and so
Just does what it's good.
and it does. It makes it look really alive. That darkness, I think, is really helping this already, this area.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you want to see it from this side, feel free to come around. Oh, I paint upside down a lot. I'm not up for it right at the moment. Okay, so I'm liking that. And now let's add some, so they don't look dead, let's add some branches.
It looks like they've been in a forest fire.
Yeah, they do.
They were
Where's-
charred.
Here it is. So let's take this hockey brush, pick up some of the same deep value. Quinacridone gold, French Ultra, cut it with some alizarin, and then, so some of this is a matter of studying. There's my, studying the shapes, how these things, I'm looking at these trees here, how they kind of hang down, and I don't want to paint every needle at all. I just want to give the suggestion that there's, just indicate that these are back there, and that darkness is going to give a big foundation for these up front.
It sure
So-
makes this corner come alive,
Yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
Yeah,
does.
thanks.
It's like so amazing
So,
how just
and-
that one color.
So I've had this painting framed for 5 years, and it has never sold. And I honestly can tell you, I have never had anybody look at it and with the sense that they're interested in it.
Will you repeat that?
Sure, I've had this painting framed for about 5 years, and I've never had anybody really look at it with a lot of interest. You can kind of tell sometimes when people are looking at your work if they want to buy it or not. Not always, but. And I haven't had a lot of interest in it either, because I didn't really like it. It wasn't really working, so I
It's
took it out of the
working now.
frame. Yeah, I took it out of the
Yes,
frame
it's
just a
working.
couple weeks ago, and I knew what I needed to do. It was something. So I thought I'm going to try it, and then so I started it, and then I thought, perfect, I'm going to stop. I need to bring it to this workshop because then you can see as an example.
The bravery
Of
of just
how-
making that dark trunk all of a sudden.
I
Just
know.
drop it in there. See, this is dry brush. It skips over,
Yeah.
and it looks like light is hitting the rough
So
bark.
cool for that.
So if this is going to be my dark and light, I need to carry that
Over.
through somehow here. But I'm not quite sure what needs to be over here yet. Is it another one of these trees? Is it a little guy that cuts up through here? I think so. These certainly can be darker in here, some of this. Just start with some foreground,
Maybe you ought
closer
to put
ones.
a rock in the middle there and put a
You
turtle
know,
on
see,
it.
I had the rocks all drawn
And
here.
a-
I was
and a
thinking
turtle
of
on
that.
it.
Yeah,
Put a turtle
Even
on
like
it.
you
Put a great
said,
big
like
tent over there.
reeds
Yeah.
or like
that's true.
you could do reeds.
Some reeds in there, yes. I'm thinking some weeds and reeds and pads that go
Oh,
out
yeah,
here.
lily pads, the shape of
And
a
that,
suggestion.
yeah, we'll try that.
of a-
And
a
then let's
lily pad
try
with that dark.
a rock and maybe a turtle. We can get that turtle in there. Just a little
That
more
just
in
made
here.
it like so.
I think that's helpful there.
Yes, that's like dramatic. Like the
Okay.
value over there is.
If, since I have this color mixed, we keep going with this before I overcommit here. I'm not a fan of this little guy too much. Let's have something much more interesting that's going to come up into that and have it be a black spruce that hangs down and has their own droopy look instead of the upward branches. Like so, I think that will work.
Mhm.
There, let's just try it. Remember, staining color, so we're committing to this. There's no turning back here. Something like this.
Oh, that's.
And the
really
shape, you know, these branches, they
Flop
start,
down.
they do, they like open downward as you go down the tree. But these little spruces are already pointing down toward the top often.
What color are you using?
It's kind of a deep greenish,
Greenish.
bluish.
Greenish, bluish.
And as we
Why did you just whip that
put
out?
this in there, we have to kind of
You've been painting for a while.
evaluate the shape as we go. And I might soften out with just a touch of spray in a couple spots here. It pulls the paint off the brush better when I do that. Quicker. I'm gonna go right over this other tree.
Do both of those leaning at the top?
Hmm?
See those two both lean? This one
That
and
one?
this one's leaning?
Yeah, I intentionally am trying to hold things together in a
Okay,
picture.
I knew there was a reason. I wondered
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. So let's leave a little open area. I'll have the trunk come through there, and we'll have like maybe a more dead portion of the tree with a lot of branches in there. Let's make some of this larger shapes, smaller shapes.
Okay, I'm gonna
It's
wanna
not
buy it
the
now.
Same.
Cool.
Well, it would be for sale.
As this over here.
So,
It's very
that's right.
personal, Suzanne.
Yes.
Watched him.
I mean,
No.
I have blood, sweat, and tears over this one.
Oh,
And
it's
the paper
beautiful.
still isn't destroyed, so. So then, we need a trunk in here. Where's my here?
When you
Fun
paint
little
trees,
brush I
do
was
you
using.
paint the leaves and the branches
A
first?
little one right here.
And then the trunk?
Oh, there it is, thank you. It depends, sometimes I go one way or the other. With these
Okay.
pines or spruces, I almost always paint
The trunk?
the trunk
tree
last.
first.
Yeah, and the trunk last, just like this. Because then when it's still wet, I can drop the trunk in here and it will merge together.
That totally balanced to the picture. I
Good,
think.
good. I
Mhm.
think it's starting to see the weight,
Yeah,
like visual
right.
weight.
I
That's,
think it's gorgeous.
But it directs your
Thank you.
attention at the same
Beautiful.
time.
Beautiful.
so then this trunk, I want it to kind of
Yeah,
not be
so
just a
perfect.
straight line. And then
Wow.
in a real quick and easy kind of way, we need some branches that, see how that open gap, I intentionally wanted to leave that
Yeah,
space
so it's
there.
not perfect, so it's random.
Yep,
Mm.
and maybe it looks a little more realistic. There's a few up here, out there, like that. And so now we have that little guy over there. It's still not enough though, so I think let's work in here a little bit. I've got a brush, it's called a rake, it's frayed on the ends.
Is that gonna be reeds?
This will be some reeds, yes.
Oh, cool.
And we'll keep them pretty dark yet, since I want this whole foreground area relatively dark. Can always lighten them up. No, I can't always lighten them up, that's not true. But, let's see if this is gonna work here. And then we need the reflection, which is almost always darker on these things.
Oh, sure.
No, that's cool.
So just kind of something to suggest the reflection there. So,
Just as he's doing some of the work in there.
we'll just merge the dark in here
Video. Yeah.
as we get closer to the shore. Because it's really critical in a painting that your darks link all the way across
All the way
or
across.
through somehow. Otherwise, it looks piecemeal, it's busy, you just see these
It
different,
doesn't flow together.
you know?
That's a cool brush.
Yeah, it's been with me for a long time. And so,
That the new tree really shows off the pink there.
Right.
right in
it's-
here,
just
oh,
brings
it
it
makes
to
that,
life.
oh, that's
Right, that
interesting,
just
that's a
explodes
good
out, like-
observation. So let's put just a couple of horizontal ripples on here. Like that. And then before I do too many of those, let's